The dinner plates stopped clinking, and 5 family members watched as River Phoenix was told that Hollywood is corrupting you at his family's modest dining table. Gainesville, Florida, December 1987. The Phoenix family home sits in a quiet residential neighborhood where single-story houses reflect working-class values and the kind of financial stability that comes from careful budgeting rather than entertainment industry wealth. This isn't the sprawling mansion most people imagine successful actors purchasing. It's the same modest home where River grew up, where family dinners still happen around a simple wooden table that's witnessed years of conversations about dreams, struggles, and the price of pursuing artistic success. The dining room embodies the family's unpretentious values, mismatched chairs gathered around a table that served multiple purposes over the years, walls decorated with family photos rather than expensive art, lighting that comes from a simple overhead fixture rather than designer chandeliers. The air carries the comfortable familiarity of home-cooked meals and family traditions that haven't changed despite River's growing fame. River Phoenix, 17 years old, sits uncomfortably in the same chair he's occupied since childhood, still wearing the simple clothes that reflect his family's values rather than the expensive wardrobe his new income could easily afford. Recent success with Stand By Me has generated substantial earnings, but the family maintains their modest lifestyle while navigating the complexities of sudden financial security and industry attention. Around the table, his parents, John and Arlen Phoenix, along with siblings Rain, Joaquin, Liberty, and Summer, gather for their traditional Sunday dinner that's always served as the family's primary time for serious discussions about important decisions affecting everyone's lives. The money is incredible, River admits quietly, discussing recent contract negotiations that will provide financial security the family has never experienced. But I'm starting to understand what people mean when they talk about the cost of success in Hollywood. John Phoenix, River's father, studies his eldest son with growing concern that's been building over months of observing changes in River's behavior, speech patterns, and priorities that suggest entertainment industry influence is reshaping fundamental values the family worked years to instill. Success is good, John responds carefully, his tone carrying parental authority mixed with genuine worry about developments he doesn't fully understand but recognizes as potentially threatening to family cohesion. But not if it comes at the expense of who you are as a person. Their evening begins with typical family conversation about school, work, and daily life challenges that affect everyone around the table. But underlying tensions emerge as River discusses industry experiences, parties where drug use is normalized, business meetings where financial considerations override artistic integrity, social environments where genuine relationships become difficult to distinguish from professional networking opportunities designed to advance careers rather than build authentic human connections. That's when John Phoenix decides to address his growing concerns directly. John represents traditional parental authority, concerned about protecting family values against external influences that threaten to undermine years of careful moral guidance. His background in social activism and alternative lifestyle choices reflects commitment to principles that prioritize community welfare over individual success achieved at community expense. He approaches this conversation with parental responsibility to address dangerous developments before they become irreversible, understanding that early intervention might prevent problems that become much more difficult to resolve once they're fully established. River, John says, his voice carrying authority earned through years of guiding his children through difficult decisions. I need to talk to you about something that's been worrying your mother and me for several months. River and his siblings recognize familiar territory where parental concern leads to serious family discussions about values, choices, and the kind of people they want to become through their decision-making processes. John continues with increasing directness, his concern overriding diplomatic approaches that might soften the impact of observations he feels compelled to share, regardless of potential emotional consequences. Hollywood is corrupting you, John declares with devastating precision earned through months of watching his son gradually adopt attitudes and behaviors that contradict fundamental family values they worked years to establish and maintain. 8 seconds pass as John's assessment settles over the dinner table like a storm cloud, family members recognizing potential confrontation between parental authority and teenage independence, complicated by financial success and industry influence that extends beyond typical family dynamics. The words land with particular force because they come from someone whose opinion River values more than industry praise or financial rewards, forcing recognition that success might be costing more than he's been willing to acknowledge, even to himself. Other family members shift uncomfortably, understanding they're witnessing confrontation between values that shaped their family identity and external pressures that threaten to undermine everything they've built together through years of shared commitment to principles that distinguish them from mainstream American culture. Then, River Phoenix does something that surprises everyone at the table, including John himself. Instead of defending his choices or dismissing his father's concerns as misunderstanding of industry realities, he looks directly at John with genuine curiosity rather than defensive anger. "Dad," River says quietly, his voice carrying vulnerability that proves John's point about concerning changes, "can you help me understand specifically what you're seeing that worries you? I want to know what corruption you're talking about." John's expression shows appreciation for River's willingness to engage seriously with parental concerns rather than dismissing them as outdated perspectives that don't apply to contemporary entertainment industry realities. River continues with growing honesty despite obvious discomfort. "I've been feeling disconnected from our family values lately, but I thought it was just part of growing up and experiencing new environments. If you're seeing actual corruption, I need to understand what that means." The silence that follows carries different energy than typical family disagreements, not generational conflict, but recognition that River is prioritizing family guidance over industry influences that might be leading him away from values that define his core identity. Arlen, observing this exchange, recognizes authentic concern rather than typical teenage rebellion against parental authority. "We've noticed changes in how you talk about people, how you evaluate relationships, what you consider important. It's subtle but consistent." John explains his specific concerns, increasing focus on financial considerations over artistic integrity, growing comfort with social environments that normalize destructive behaviors, gradual adoption of industry attitudes that treat people as career opportunities rather than human beings deserving respect regardless of their professional utility. The entertainment industry operates according to values that contradict everything we've taught you about community, authenticity, and social responsibility, John continues. Success in that environment might require compromising principles that define who you are as a person. River processes this perspective, recognizing truth in his father's observations about changes he hadn't fully acknowledged even to himself. So the corruption isn't about specific bad choices, but about gradually adopting a value system that prioritizes individual success over community well-being. Exactly, John confirms, and once those values become internalized, they're much harder to recognize and resist because they feel natural instead of imposed by external pressures. Over the following weeks, River works consciously to maintain connection with family values while navigating entertainment industry demands, seeking balance between career success and personal integrity that honors both his artistic ambitions and moral foundation. The family develops strategies for regular check-ins about value conflicts, creating accountability systems that help River recognize when industry pressures are influencing his decision-making in ways that contradict their shared principles. Years later, River often references that dinner conversation as crucial for maintaining authentic identity while pursuing career success in an environment designed to reshape personalities according to commercial considerations rather than personal integrity. John occasionally mentions that evening as example of how family intervention can address concerning developments before they become irreversible, emphasizing importance of honest communication about value conflicts that affect family relationships. 8 seconds at a family dinner table in 1987. One moment when a teenage actor chose family wisdom over industry influence, accountability over independence. One choice that enabled continued success without sacrificing core values that defined his identity beyond professional achievements and financial rewards. The evening that proved authentic success requires maintaining connection to communities and principles that existed before fame, because corruption happens gradually through small compromises that eventually reshape identity in ways that can't be easily reversed once they're fully established.